coach. But this Michigan State rivalry, what's it like for a head coach?
Well, it was personal as an assistant coach, and it's even more personal now as a head football coach.
What do you think your Spartans must do to win this game?
Well, we just got to execute. We got to do a better job on offense. We got to score some points. We got to play better in special teams. We got to stop them on defense.
Good luck, coach.
Thanks.
Jack, he came across as nervous. Lloyd Carr on the other side, and he's got a few butterflies too. This is a big one right now. Michigan was hoping that Purdue might stumble up in Wisconsin, but a blocked field goal in overtime returned for a touchdown. And now the Wolverines must win this to stay in that deadlock for first place. And remember, they have lost a game already this year to Purdue. So the deep men, Walter Cross and Justin Farkas, David Schaefer will kick it off for the Spartans. And we are underway in Ann Arbor. Here comes Farkas from the 6-yard line. Right hash return and hard hitting already. Here comes Drew Henson. Let's take a little look at this beyond the numbers, folks. He is the anti-Van Dyke, if you will, because he represents Eastern Michigan against Western Michigan. And finally, these two high school standouts come together in college. Mother and father, both coaches. And remember, Drew Henson traded for Denny Nagel during the summer. Nagel could draw a World Series start for the New York Yankees when the series moves to Shea Stadium.
Brent Henson's had a better year than Nagel. I think so. He's got his team. They're not at the top. That was a tough loss for Michigan. Purdue winning that game. That win by Purdue keeps them in the driver's seat.
And Michigan to throw it on the first play of the game. They swing it over to Anthony Thomas. Nothing doing as the Spartans jump it with Demario Suggs. And we check in on the Chile starting lineup. So the A-train into the offense right away here for the Wolverines on this Saturday afternoon. The wide receivers, we don't have to tell you that David Terrell is perhaps the most dangerous single wide out in the country today. The young man from Richmond, Virginia. Henson brings him back up to the line of scrimmage now with a 2nd down and 10. And here comes Thomas. Picked up 2 or 3 yards. This is going to be 3rd and long, and I think you can see the intensity of the Spartans. Here's that offensive line, and folks, Jonathan Goodwin is the only underclassman, the only member of this veteran line who will be back next year, matched against this defensive front, and I think we have seen already that the Spartans are coming hard. Josh Shaw from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Number 95 is one to watch there. Here's 3rd down and 7. Terrell is off to Henson's left. Bellamy is the slot man to the right. And Henson looks slot, throws the screen, and Marquise Walker with a 1st down to the 32-yard line. A beautiful pattern, and the Spartans could not jump Walker, who has made Terrell even more dangerous. And this is the linebacking core with Josh Thornhill, son of a one-time Spartan standout in the middle. A fine player, but the DBs on the corner, they will be under fire. Cedric Henry and Ronaldo Hill must play an outstanding game defensively here today with Shaw and Thornhill down there in the middle of that Spartan defense.
Yeah, Walker's emergence has really changed this offense for Michigan.
Yeah, it really has. I think here's now 1st down, play fake, and Henson's back. He's got plenty of time. Going to take it deep down the middle and overthrew Walker.
Let's take a look at the Dell Game Solutions, Brent. What Michigan has to do when they have this football. I say it's full throttle open all game. They learned a big lesson against Purdue. So far, they've done that in this game with an open offense. Michigan State's defense, number 1. Derail the A-train, take him out of this game, and then in passing situations, look for that go-to guy, David Terrell. He's the guy that makes the plays for this offense.
Chris Perry just slipped into the Michigan lineup, number 23. And they show a brand new formation here, and they're going to toss it to the young man and let him run for about 5 yards on that play with Ronaldo Hill coming up at the corner spot. One way to keep the corners honest is make them defend the run.
All right, I'm going to go on a line here. Remember, I live in Michigan, Brent, so this is very dangerous for me. Offensive line, that's got to go to Michigan, okay? Quarterbacks, wide receivers, I think that's not many teams in college football can match that. But the offensive line, it's a young defensive line for Michigan. But here's the difference right here. Young receivers for Michigan State. I give the advantage to Michigan.
All right, we see how that unfolds here right now. It's 3rd down and 5 in the early going. Short drop, snaps it off. Terrell's got it. First down, Michigan at the 45-yard line. Couldn't stop it. It was Marquise Walker again. Let me check myself. He was slanting from the wide side, and it's first down, Michigan.
Marquise Walker, another go-to guy. That's what Drew Henson is using and establishing in this game. Comes it right there. Back hip, that's how you throw it. But look at Newsom come in and put Drew Henson down. Michigan State has to love that early in the game. Knock number 7 down.
He checks the plays on the wristband on the left wrist. They bring a number in, and he checks to see exactly what the terminology is for that particular play. And on first down, the Wolverines are at the 45-yard line. A blitz again, and in the pressure, he throws complete inside the 35-yard line, and this time it is David Terrell for 22 yards.
How do you stop that? You put a guy right in the face of the quarterback, and then Terrell at the bottom of your screen right here uses his big body to shield the throw. This is almost like throwing it into the big post right here. Slant pattern coming up. 1, 2, 3. Ball's on the way right now. Watch Terrell use his body. Good coverage from the outside by Hill, but that's a perfect throw.
Thomas on a swing to the right as daylight. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Thomas Wright.
Brent, you'd say it's full throttle open, wouldn't you think? I mean, they've established in the whole field.
I got to tell you something. You know how I feel about Drew Henson measured against all the Heisman hopefuls. I think he's the best Sunday prospect I've seen this year.
No doubt about that.
Folks, he has not thrown an interception this season, and not since last October.
And that was against Michigan State when the dynamics of the quarterback position changed here in Ann Arbor.
First down and 10 with the ball on the Spartans' 11-yard line. Thomas drills the middle for 3 more yards.
Brent, you know,
22-yard game, excuse me.
Another emergence, and we're going to get to Michigan State's fine defense too, but another emergence of this Michigan team is a healthy offensive line. They go right across there. Backus, Hutchinson, Goodwin, Williams, and David Brandt at center. Kind of a hidden player in the Big Ten. You talk to opposing coaches, and they like to talk about David Brandt being a real playmaker for them at center.
4-minute drive. With the second down and short drop, going to throw to fade, may have overthrown Terrell that time, and he did. That's pretty good coverage by Ronaldo Hill.
Ronaldo Hill did a good job, and he's faced a lot of receivers. It's not like this is the first time. Remember, they played in the Citrus Bowl against Florida last year. He faced those great Ohio State receivers, David Boston. He's already played against David Terrell, and as we're watching him, he's talking. He's got a smile right now, but he's actually talking to David Terrell as he walks back to the huddle.
This will be an interesting call right here. They need they can get a first down just inside the 2-yard line without scoring.
Weapons all over the field.
They spread the field with 4 wide receivers. Thomas, the lone running back behind Henson. Drew to fire the slant.
Oh, man.
Terrell with a grab, and it is right at the mark. Right at the spot. Now, you would think that this close, if they...
Oh, I think it's first down.
It's first down. He's got it.
Brent, you know, you try to teach professional quarterbacks to do this. Watch the ball go low on this throw. Watch the ball go low. He's not going to throw it up here. He's going to throw it down here, right at the bullseye. Now watch this. That's exactly how you do it as a quarterback. Your receivers come back and say, thank you very much. That didn't hurt at all, and I get to make a first down play. And ask Keyshawn Johnson if he likes those low throws.
Yes. And ask the Detroit Lions, too. Here comes Thomas, pursuing the touchdown record for Michigan, dances into the end zone. The Wolverines strike first.
I think right now in college football, you might put Florida State, you might put Oklahoma, but you can make a good argument that Michigan has the most powerful offense in college football right now.
And the A-Train, who came back to Michigan for his senior year, is moving up the NFL scouting charts, too. This is a young man who will go certainly in the first 3 rounds as Jeff Delverne adds the extra point. Take another look as the Wolverines march 80 yards in 12 plays. And in this rivalry game, they strike first. Part of the state, Marshall, Michigan. He has always been reading about Drew Henson, determined to do something about it. We got to worry about the thumb on the throwing hand. Missed 3 games. He was an outstanding high school basketball player. And folks, it looks like Ryan Van Dyke is going to have to put up some numbers today against his one-time high school rival. This is the first time they've come together on the field there, Michigan and Michigan State. And this is Little John Flowers coming out. And Little John to the 20-yard line. Our Chili's starting lineup for the Michigan State Spartans. Van Dyke is there, but T.J. Duckett from Kalamazoo is the running back to watch. How's the hip pointer? That will be critical as this game unfolds. Wide receivers have been just so this year, but Chris Baker is the go-to tight end. And the Spartans have always liked the tight end in their offensive schemes and things, as Sean Lazarus moves into the defensive line, draws a start today for the Wolverines. Van Dyke rolls out, completes his first pass of the game to that tight end, Chris Baker. John, show us how that drama unfolded between Purdue and Wisconsin and Madison, partner.
Brent, an extremely strange ending to the game. In overtime, Vitaly Pisetsky of Wisconsin sets up for a 58-yard field goal. It's blocked by Craig Terrell, bounces around. Ashante Woodyard picks up the ball and takes it in for the touchdown. Purdue wins in overtime. Brent.
What a way to win in overtime. A penalty flag flies. Duckett's first carry of the game, but the line judge and our referee today is David Whitvote. Let me get that right. I think I've mispronounced that more than once in my life.
What's the flag on the play?
So the mic is not working, and I just happened to notice that David is from the same hometown as the Ducketts, Kalamazoo. He had a fine umpire working down there with him on this crew, Jimmy Augustine.
Penalty takes the ball to the 32-yard line and a first down for Michigan State.
We always focus on the referee, but frequently umpires the key here. Here's Van Dyke now, straight back, got a man, and a beautiful pass to Richardson for a first down for the Spartans. Gary, that was a very well thrown ball for 15.
Action pass, and that's what you have to do against Michigan. You got to attract these linebackers in. They read the linebacker, they read the play action pass, and you have an opportunity against Michigan's zone. And look at that, throwing off the safety right there, Patman. That's a big time play by Van Dyke, and that's got to relax them in this game. 2 first downs for the Spartans. Michigan looking blitz here.
Here's Duckett rolling. Got him isolated on the corner, and a fine tackle by Howard. Left alone on that island, Howard did the job, and there's an injured Spartan. Payco leads this offensive line, and Michigan describes it as a typical Spartan line. Tough, aggressive, and we'll have our hands full with them here today. Matched against the defensive front, in which Larry Stevens will get down into that rush linebacking spot that they call it here, but in effect it's a down defensive end, if you will.
Sakura came down, kind of got a little bit of a stinger. I don't know if he got his knee or twisted his back, but also Eric Wilson went out on the same play, so one from each side fell.
Tyrell Dortch into the backfield for the Spartans. Second down and 5. Comes the blitz. Van Dyke gets a good block, but he's going to be running for his life. Simply outnumbered.
Well, Dortch went the wrong way that time. The freshman kind of hung up the quarterback.
Eric Brackett's his buddies were coming too, Gary. They made it tough on him. And in that secondary, a young man who's had a very good year as a ball hawk is the corner, Todd Howard from Bolingbrook, Illinois.
3rd and long, and this is the exact play that the Spartans don't want to be in all day. 3rd and about 7 or 8. They're not made up to get these all day against Michigan's defense.
Shotgun. Van Dyke, but it's short of the first down and incomplete. The linesman right there.
You can see right there that Michigan does not really respect the passing game for Michigan State right now. Van Dyke looked for one guy and went to the dump off player. No one coming across the middle of the formation. The deep drop of the zone, and they played everything in front of them and came up to make the hit.
Good pop by Larry Foote.
Alex Curry's getting a good pop in the ear right there, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had a couple of those in the last few weeks, as a matter of fact. Now, there's a little bit of an injured thumb situation here with Bellamy, who's set to return this punt. And he will attempt to cradle it on in if he can. He's probably going to let this one go on a nasty hop and get out of the way. And it'll get marked at the 11-yard line. So that dangerous Michigan offense with its second at bat is coming up. About all the friendly faces you see around here when you come into one of the grand old stadiums in college football.
Brent, I've done it before. And it's a tough place to walk in.
Right to the middle comes Thomas, busts free and out to the 26-yard line. And here's a scouting report on this fine young running back.
Yeah, he's been around here forever. And if you look at this guy, he does so many things well. You just love to have this type of guy on your team. He's a slasher with the ball. But what I love in my running backs, I mean, steady. You can depend on him. Sturdy. He doesn't get hurt. And this right here, silent. I love that in a running back. Just pick up the blitzes. I'll give you the ball. You just make first downs. Anthony Thomas is going to be a tremendous addition to any NFL team.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, defense. Dead ball, personal foul, offense. The penalty's offset. First down.
Traditional offsetting calls. Bobby Williams is saying, I've been here 10 years, and you always call one of those early. They started. Of course, the other side's saying the same thing.
Well, ABC college football is always happy to come to the big house in Ann Arbor, Michigan on a Saturday like this. Man, it is just gorgeous out here.
Can't believe I live in this state. So.
Vice presidential candidate Dick Cheney in attendance today. Michigan up in the air with its electoral votes. And Thomas to the 29-yard line. So college football on ABC is brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee with legendary off-road capability. Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Chili's, I want my Chili's baby back ribs only at Chili's. And Dell, providing the infrastructure to power your e-business. Gary, a big thanks to you for those wonderful seats last night at the fight. And
right.
Fortunately for Vice Presidential candidate Dick Cheney, yes, here's a man who's got a real fight on his hands.
And he picked out the Michigan hat. Of course, Governor Engler's already here, too. He's going to spin the Michigan State locks if they look.
Deflected and off Terrell's hands, and so it'll go as an incomplete pass.
An important story for Michigan State early in this football game. They have not stopped Michigan. You know, that first drive was beautiful. But they, in my memory so far, I think they've knocked down Drew Henson 3 or 4 times already in this game. That could pay off for them in the second half. That defense rated the best in the Big Ten, giving up 141 yards running the ball. Very tough inside.
3rd down and 7. Henson's perfect. He's converted his first 3 third downs of the game. And he puts it in Terrell's hands, not this time.
Drew Henson's passing.
He didn't have much time to wait for Terrell to clear the first down marker. He was under enormous fire that time, and he had to release the pass.
Yeah, that was one of those slip screens again. You know what? The defensive line that time really read the play, engaged, and then turned around and helped out in the defense that time and got on Terrell. Good defense by the Spartans.
Center.
Now here is Zeal Kavanaugh, redshirt freshman, set to return his first punt. Michigan State has struggled, and a redshirt freshman wraps it up and looks for daylight. He'll be out there for his second, too. That's a 10-yard return on a 35-yard punt. Coach Williams has to like that effort. Timeout. Well, Michigan's D has been good on the opening drives of the game. They've stopped State here, and they haven't allowed a touchdown on the opening drive in the last 25 games. And now it's the Spartans' second drive. Ryan Van Dyke at the controls. Play fake, rolling hard to the right, and wide open is the tight end again over there. So he's gone twice to Chris Baker.
Well, there's the game plan evolving right there, at least I think, for Michigan State. Let's take a look at the Dell Game Solutions. Make the play. The reason I say that, the last 2 games, Michigan State has put up 832 yards between the 2 games and lost both of them. They have to finish off the plays. They have to run it or fake it to TJ. They've started that in Michigan's defense, move and stunt, and match that head coach's intensity. Lloyd Carr is fuming still about that Purdue loss.
Baker being used as a slot man, so the tight end's really talented, and that's a one-hop pass for Herb Haygood, incomplete. So Michigan leading Michigan State 7-0. Jack Arute and Gary Danielson. I'm Brett Musburger. Nice to have you along on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The Wolverines dominated on their opening drive, and now Terrell with 3 catches for 34 yards on the game. And Thomas cruising on in. Anthony has carried 6 times for 46 yards. Age ran off to a good start. 3rd down and 8. That dunk high, incomplete. Williams took a shot at it on that far side, but he overthrew the defensive back also.
He overthrew it, and he tried to put too much on the throw. I mean, he tried to throw a gun out there. A nice, well-controlled throw. Could have got that pass right there. He kind of, Ryan just put everything into it, and the ball sailed on.
Back deep goes Ronald Bellamy again with that injured thumb. Greg Jarrett punting for the 2nd time for the Spartans here today. So Michigan has dominated this football game so far with 5:57 to go in the opening quarter. Now we'll watch Bell. Cradles it into the body. Got an alley. Down at the 27-yard line. Well, a reminder that next week at 3:30 Eastern, now this will be a major game. Ohio State against Purdue. Both winners today. Ohio State winning, and in overtime Purdue. You can also check those games out on pay-per-view. That is next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time. So it is 1st down and 10 here. And,
coming down to a crunch now, isn't it? A lot of the pressure. The pressure is starting to mount on these football teams. Michigan had a chance to be in the picture for the national championship. They still can get that Rose Bowl win if they do things right and get a little help.
Yeah, they must have help because Purdue holds the tiebreaker after that win. Thomas for a couple of yards. Josh Thornhill, the middle linebacker, makes the stop for the Spartans.
The other side of that, though, it looks like Minnesota has been eliminated from that tiebreaker, which with Michigan, too, if they lose that game, then the tiebreaker with 1 loss for Michigan goes to Michigan's way.
Quite a bit of time, though, isn't it? That
well,
Indiana
Michigan
game?
has to run it up. Well, it's not. What is it? How much left? I thought that thing was fine. Maybe you're right.
2nd down and 9. Thomas now is 7 yards shy of 1,000. And this is Chris Perry.
Josh Thornhill that time. The middle linebacker made a great play.
All right, let's check in with John Saunders on Florida State. John?
Brent, Florida State jumped on top of Virginia early because of a mistake here. Bryson Spinner, the snap, no way he can get to it. It's recovered by Tommy Pauly of Florida State down at about the 1-yard line. He takes it there, and William McCray takes it in for the touchdown. That's your Burger King update. Florida State up 10-0.
Defense. Repeat, 2nd down.
So the face mask penalty is assessed here. And the ball will be on the 33-yard line, and that gives him just a little bit better shot here. 2nd down and 4.
Here's the matchup.
So it's not 9 because they didn't change the number quickly enough. And over the top is Perry, and he is short of the 1st down as we check in with Jack Arute.
Brent, as you and Gary know, most offensive coordinators, especially quarterback coaches, they give their quarterbacks quizzes on a Friday. They have to fill out, what sort of formations, what they see on the line. Stan Parrish for the Michigan Wolverines adds one final question. He asks all his quarterbacks their favorite play. Drew Henson's favorite play a week ago? Well, it was the bootleg. Today, Stan wouldn't tell me, but he said, I think it's got something to do with David Terrell.
Stan's hiding behind that little pole there. You got to get a better seat.
Here's a long handoff to Thomas.
Great defense.
And Thomas didn't need more than a yard for the 1st down. So Thornhill and Drew Young in on the stop for Michigan State.
Michigan State is missing T.J. Turner, their outstanding Sam linebacker, but Thornhill seems on the middle linebacker spot seems to be able to play sideline to sideline so far. I love that 1st down line, don't you, on those? You can tell right away, there's no guessing.
And 1st and 10 is presented by Pacific Life.
Do I get part of that deal for teeing that up for you right there?
That was beautiful layup. Couldn't miss that. Defense was out of the way.
Exactly.
Just rolled on in, partner.
Well, Michigan State is hanging in. They survived an early blow. Now their defense is forcing Michigan to throw the ball down the field to get big chunks.
Here's Henson. Gets good protection. Got Terrell again. And he reaches for the first down. About a 9-yard gain. The ball is marked on the far side. Ronaldo Hill, the defensive back.
One of the great offensive lines in college football. I think 4 of these guys will get drafted into the NFL. Probably 4 of them higher than the 3rd round, maybe 2 number 1s, and they're not backing up. You know, they were injured last year and kind of nicked all year, but they've been healthy all year this year for Michigan.
Here's how far they have to go with that 1st and 10 line that you caught a glimpse of right there. And Henson going to try to get more than that. He wants Walker's slippage on the play.
Slippage, you got to get used to, got to build that into your offense around in this field for Michigan. There's the turf. It's been a big story around here. It seems like when the players are doing something that they normally have planned to do, they don't have a problem with the turf. But when they have to make a quick adjustment, as you see all those little divots, their feet go right out from under them, and they just can't react and make those changing athletic plays.
Now they come down off 2nd down, and you would think a little power football here, straight ahead. Armstrong and Thomas for the 1st down. Armstrong leads the way, and Thomas has to struggle. Trying to get it with a 2nd effort, met by Thornhill, and you could tell that it was a battle right there at the line. They're going to measure.
Timeout for a measurement.
Got it. Jackaroo, what about the turf here in Ann Arbor?
Well, Brent, as you know, it's been an ongoing process and a concern for the agronomist in charge of the turf, Amy Foudy. I talked to her before the game. She said part of the problem is just below the layer of grass. When the grass decays and goes down through there, it softens the connection between the top of the grass and the roots. It makes it almost slimy. So when you start to cut, well, you saw what happens. What they've done is they've aerated it, as you see Amy working on the grass, aerated it, added sand, and they hope they'll have to continue to do that all year before it cures it.
1st down and 10, and here's Henson being chased and sacked at the 43-yard line. Just to follow up on that story on Amy, who does an outstanding job. She happens to be a Michigan State graduate, but no conspiracy theory here. Fine agronomist does a good job, and Coach Williams says that's the way to get after number 7. Look at, he's working on that gum, Gary. I'm telling you right now.
Well, Bobby, I think you're right. I felt a little bit of tension. I think when you're 0-3 coming into a big game like this, I think the tension, though, is he knows what a win here could do for his program. And he's just, it's a tension of a big game, and he wants his team to play well. I think he takes his chances if his team plays well.
Drew Young from that will linebacker spot, credited with that sack, made a nice tackle, and then it's Thomas hooking the corner and picking up 6 more yards. Well, Monday night, folks, and it's another good one. Vinny Testaverde, and do you remember this play against Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay's season hasn't been the same. Here comes Curtis Martin, and guess who's on the receiving end? Wayne Corvette. And then you'll see a tough Miami Dolphin defense. So Monday night at 9 Eastern time, the Jets and the Dolphins on ABC. So Thomas with 1,001 yards this season after that run. 3rd down and 6. Here's Henson in trouble, fires Walker wide open. More yards, and Marquise Walker
We saw it with Josh Heupel last week. Modern offenses have to expect people coming from the corner right here. Suggs, number 19, is going to come from the outside. You're going to see him. He's coming in free right there. That's a free shot at the quarterback. But what Henson does is a nice job anticipating the wide receiver coming across, take the hit, make the completion, and live with a first down. We saw Heupel do it all last week for Oklahoma.
Sure did. Here's the handoff, and Thomas adds to that 1,000-yard total right there as he powers his way to the 36-yard line. This is, Gary, such a well-balanced attack with 14 running plays and 12 passes on the part of the Wolverines, who lead it inside of 2 minutes here in the opening quarter.
And a lot of people in this area were critical of Michigan's play calling in the second half against Purdue. That wasn't it. I mean, they were 12-10 run to pass in that game. What it was, they didn't make any plays in the second half. They had a couple of penalties that changed the game because they didn't stop Purdue's offense all game. Yeah, they just had no chance. They had to make first down in that game.
Pretty tough to close down on Drew Brees. Let me tell you, second down and 6, and straight back is Henson, and that's probably his weakest throw of the game. Wanted Bellamy, and he bounced it.
He needs to get hit. Nobody was in his face. He felt the pressure, and that's what that pass rush will do for you. If you're a Spartan fan, you're saying maybe it works a little bit. We've hit him 4 times just as he let go of the ball. This time, no pressure, but Drew feels the pressure, really steps into the throw and kind of just throws one. Hernandez couldn't have got that one in first base. Does that guy play still? No, he doesn't play.
Coaches, though.
Okay.
Third down, they call him in there. He helped with that defensive work at first base. And here's Henson on a drop this time by Marquise Walker. Not a perfectly thrown ball. On the move, sort of had to reach back.
Yeah, another bad throw. That's another play that could have been made for a first down. And like I said, Michigan State is feeling good that they're at least forcing Michigan to throw the ball for first down. They're not just tearing through them and making first downs, grinding it out.
Well, Hayden Epstein, the long field goal specialist, trots onto the field, and Coach Carr telling us yesterday, anything over 40 yards, he would send Hayden Epstein out to attempt it, and this one is a 54-yarder for Epstein.
I mean, half fake from this position where they have punted the ball also with Epstein.
It also shows disdain for the Spartans' offense.
Oh,
whoa, just missed it.
Well, he had plenty of leg, too.
Yes, he did.
Hayden has struggled this year, but he's getting closer. Because he hit this one very well.
Can't get much closer, folks, but it does allow the Spartans to come out from their own 36-yard line. Now, there is a story, and it's starting to add up regarding this aggressive Spartan defense. They are coming at number 7, and perhaps taking its toll as Van Dyke has the Spartans at the line of scrimmage. They come with Duckett and pound away at the middle, and this figured to be their game plan all along. So I'm surprised that it took the Spartans this long to get there. When you think back at Purdue, it was low right into the middle of that Wolverine defense. And now this is the first time that they have really attacked the middle, 2nd down and 2.
There may be a reason for that, Brent, with TJ. They might not be able to get 35 carries out of him this game. They might not just, he might not be 100%. We'll talk about that in a minute.
First down and Duckett.
Oh, man, is he alone?
I'd hate to see this guy when he is
out. I know, you're right. Now, they told us. I mean, he is a defensive mouthful. This is one guy you don't want to see breaking that line of scrimmage. Has those dancer's feet. You saw it. Quarterback's hands. Remember, he was a high school quarterback. But right here has a little bit of a hip pointer, a tender hip, we've been told. And we'll see if he can stand up to a full game of this Michigan State rivalry.
Reminds me of Jerome Bettis.
Absolutely. A little faster than Jerome, I think.
Here's the handoff to him. Cuts to the middle, and Bettis plows close to that 40-yard line. And Michigan State starting to dominate the middle of the Wolverine defense. Jim Herman knows he's got his hands full. He's had injuries, inexperience in there. And I think anybody who was at Purdue and watched close thought the difference in the game was the ability of Purdue to run the ball against Michigan. That made Breeze just all the more dangerous. Let's take a break. We're at the end of the first quarter, and the Wolverines lead it by 7. Starts the second quarter at the Wolverines 40-yard line, and DeJuan Moss, the fullback, his first run from scrimmage here this afternoon. We look over there at the run yards, and it's 65-28 all Michigan. But on this drive, Michigan State's starting to put some numbers up.
I think if you're Morris Watts, the fine offensive coordinator for Michigan State, you have to realize what you have to work with as an offensive team. You've got a quarterback, and there's Morris right there, the one nearest. Morris Watts, longtime assistant here at Michigan State. He does not have a go-to wide receiver like Burris or Scott like last year.
It was not a 1st and 10. And on 3rd down, there is your 1st and 10.
So when you're calling plays for Michigan State, you're accomplishing a couple of things. You're also keeping those wide receivers a little bit out of the game, which are not game breakers, and you're actually going at the weakest part of that Michigan defense, which is their defensive line. Who's calling these plays? George Perlis? 5 runs, 0 passes. Hope you heard that. You'll be down in the booth in a minute.
Inside the 35-yard line, little option look, and trying to dance.
That does not look good.
That didn't look too artistic right there with Larry Foote making the stop.
I can understand why you want to have that as part of your Ryan Van Dyke style. Our 2 guys, 2 great Big Ten running backs. Anthony Thomas gets Jay Duckett, kind of pounds you and gets first downs.
2nd down and 11. Here's Van Dyke. And he's taken down by James Whitley, number 5. Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, you and Gary talked about how long people have waited for Van Dyke to face off with Henson. When he was considered the number 2 quarterback, and when they asked him about going to Michigan State, Henson to Michigan, he said, hey, I'm in Michigan State. I'm not supposed to, but he's toned it down so they'd be a little better.
This Big Ten football.
Van Dyke needs 13 here for a first down for the Spartans. Here's Baker underneath, and he won't get it that way. And let's see if the Spartans go for a long field goal attempt. Todd Howard, the corner, made the play defensively.
A lack of confidence in the quarterback, Brian Van Dyke, for the pass offense for Michigan State. One look downfield, dump off to the back on 3rd and long. No one crossing the middle of the field. Kind of a conservative call, even though it was a pass. Trying to kick a field goal.
Here's a 50-yard attempt for David Schaefer. That's the punter, Craig Jarrett, who's the holder. I don't think it's long enough. It holds. 7-0. Timeout in the second quarter. Team White dump it off to
Here's Chris Baker right here. Watch the Michigan defense just drop in this situation. They're saying nothing's going to happen. Here's the guys playing zone. They're looking at the quarterback, and that is the safest throw you can out there. That's a lack of confidence in a passing game by the quarterback and the coordinator right there, and saying, let's just try to get a field goal. I don't know if that'll be enough against this high-powered Michigan offense.
But the Spartan defense digging in. And Henson, he'll drop one off, and it's Cross slipping out of the backfield with Hill, the defensive back, making the play for the Spartans. The Wolverine coaches, Stan Parrish, felt that this would be the best defensive front they'd looked at this year.
It was. And look, they're going to try. This is a long running play. Both receivers this time come in to block. They were not. This was going to be a throw to the outside all the way, a screen to the back. Good defense by Henry Hill, coming up.
Now the short short side, and Thomas not able to find much running room that time. And you get the feeling that Michigan's going to have to try to strike back downfield with Marquise Walker and David Terrell, because they're not finding many running lanes right now.
I agree with you 100%. I think they need to get the ball in the middle of that zone by Michigan State. The front seven for Michigan State is very impressive. I mean, they put some yards up the last few weeks. Northwestern gashed this Michigan State defense, but besides that, they've been playing good defense all year.
Eric Russell in that H-back spot, number 40 for the Wolverines, and they break early on that one.
That's a free hit on a quarterback, too.
False start, offense. 5 yards, the down remains third.
I've got to question the officiating in that. When that happens, that play should be blown dead, so you don't bang a quarterback around.
In the NFL, they'd never get away with it. In college, they're
do not allow the defense to have a free shot at a quarterback in this situation.
Very aggressive defense. I think the game plan is very obvious for Michigan State. Hit Henson. Remember, he hasn't played a lot of football. This is a guy that's been knocked out. That sounds like my old days with the Lions right there.
That's 5 more times that Milano was knocked down and he quit.
The only thing, I would have 2 tackles by now on interceptions.
3rd down and 16. Now Henson will try to take it downfield. Got Terrell in the middle. Doesn't pick him up. Comes back and underthrows him. And you wonder now if the hits are starting to build up. You know how it is at the quarterback position.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, if you're Drew Henson, you have to just relax, sit on that bench, and just put your mind to it. And this is just part of the game. We saw Josh Heupel do it all game, but so far that's the 3rd bad ball I've seen him throw. And we didn't see much of that the last couple of games I've seen him play.
He's missed 4 of his last 6. Snap is picked up by Epstein. Here's Kavanaugh, big hop, and he'll let it go out of bounds. But pretty good field position for the Spartans, who still trail it by 7. 10:53 to go in the first half in Ann Arbor. 3 to go here. Michigan State trailing Michigan 7-0. And Duckett for a couple of yards and no more with Larry Foote, who has been very active defensively, making another play for the Wolverines.
I like Duckett being the center of the offense, but this offense needs to fake it to T.J. Duckett. Those Michigan linebackers are coming so fast at him now from that tailback position. Bobby Williams needs to open the offense up. 7-0 game. Really it's not too bad yet, but he's going to have to, I think, as this game emerges, fake the ball to Duckett and throw it.
2nd down. He flares him this time. Now he's got deflected and caught. Lavelle Richardson for a 1st down for the Spartans at the 45-yard line. An 11-yard gain.
Good job by Ryan Van Dyke that time. Staying with his eyes downfield, staying with the play and throwing the ball in the inside curl route. One of the best passes you can have in football. In college or pro. I hope that one was tipped right at the line of scrimmage, and that was a nice job by Richardson staying with that ball.
There's a guy, and they run the end around and the juggle, and Michigan ate the play up anyway. Herb Haygood never had a chance because of the play of Dave Petrozello and Dan Rumashek coming from the other way. It's an 8-yard loss on a play, and well, Michigan State knows best, but you got to wonder about this play a little bit.
Well, the option, I don't think Michigan is too. You know, that's just great disciplined defense by Petrozello that time, staying at home. Jimmy Herman, if you talk to all the coaches in the Big Ten, the trademark of a Michigan defense is that they stay with their assignments. And that's a tough reverse, didn't work out. That gets them in a bad position to throw right now, 2nd and 1.
Yeah, 18 yards. Pump fake, Van Dyke's got the sideline, dropped. Would have been a 1st down, but Tyrell Dortch couldn't hang on to the pass.
I think Petrozello got held that time, too. That's a call. Petrozello, one of those effort defensive linemen that Michigan always seems to have. Another
standing room only crowd here at the Big House in Ann Arbor. I know I've said this before, but if you ever get a chance to come and watch a college football game and you just like different venues across the U.S., this is certainly one not to miss.
Pass, holding, offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, second down.
Great recruiter. Won a very dramatic Citrus Bowl over Steve Spurrier and the Florida Gators. Won his first 3 games this year, but up a little tight because 0-3 in the Big Ten. And here he is against a rival, and a lot of things can be made well by a Spartan upset here this afternoon. He's now got those 2nd and 28. Just looking for a few yards on an inside handoff, just trying to get some field position back. And let's check in with Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, since the Michigan Wolverines were upset last year, now they were both the Spartans and the Wolverines undefeated at the time, but losing up in East Lansing 34-31, there's been a block S, similar to the S that the Spartans wear on their helmets, in the locker room of the Michigan Wolverines. It's not open for the press, it's not open to any outsiders, but every player told me they look at it every day. Drew Henson said, this game is personal.
Exactly. And it seems to be a little personal for the Spartans, too. 3rd down, and Van Dyke's got a man running free. What a first down, and a great pitch and catch by Marcus Waters. Folks, remember number 13. Michigan pointed out to me that they think Waters is a fine young wide receiver.
Michigan's going to set in the deep zone with 2 free safeties, and Waters is going to catch it right in that seam right there from the quarterback. Watch this. This is a perfect job. Best throw of the day for Van Dyke. Safety doesn't get it, throw it. That's why you need the big arm. And Marcus Waters, Brent, in spring football, was still playing linebacker for this team. He's been moved over there. Morris Watts said that he will eventually become a go-to receiver and a fine Big Ten receiver.
Out of Sarasota, Florida, 26 yards. Nothing doing on the running play. Rumashek blew it up.
No hesitating against this Michigan defense. You're not going to get yards hesitating against them. When you look at Marcus Waters, Brian Van Dyke might say right now, all right, I feel comfortable. I just threw a bullet to that guy right there, and now I can settle down and lead the offense. You know, Brent, one of the parts of being a quarterback is to let the play caller gain confidence in you. And right now, Van Dyke said to Morris Watts, I can do it. Give me some downfield throws.
Well, what this Spartan team needs is a boost in their confidence right now. And that big play a short time ago, certainly a 2nd down and 11. And that time a nice little cross fumble. And they're going to call it incomplete. I thought that he had control.
See if he caught it or not.
No, you know what? That's a good call. He was juggling the ball.
Never. I was mulling on what I was going to say. That's an inside joke. That's an inside. Can't do that.
3rd down and 11.
Here comes the Michigan blitz. The zone blitz package right here.
Van Dyke in trouble. Does his best job of the day, running out of bounds and into the Wolverine sideline, staying close to the line of scrimmage that time, and that's the best foot speed that he's shown today. He's been a little reluctant on the option play so far.
Well, he's a fine athlete. You know, Brent, when these 2 guys, Henson and Van Dyke, came out, I had 2 Big Ten head coaches told me that they thought Van Dyke was going to be superior to Henson. Now, I'm not going to embarrass either one of them by telling them who they are. But I think it's pretty obvious that Henson has a little bit more ability at this stage in their 2 careers.
Bellamy awaits Jarrett's punt.
That's the old shame.
Yeah, bad looking punt. It went out of bounds at the 22-yard line. So it'll be Michigan ball leading 7-0 here in the 2nd quarter. With Jack Arute and Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. Midway through the 2nd quarter here in the big house, and Gary and I were just talking, and he said, Brent, they've got to get David Terrell into the offense, and he'll be lined up to the left of Drew Henson. rescue the fullback, and not much, a couple of yards. And you know, in talking about Terrell, we asked him about his attitude toward defensive backs. Here's what he said.
I'm that type of receiver where I think I'm going to dominate. You know, you got to have that type of attitude. You know, and when you have that attitude and you take that to the game field, it's stuff you do that you don't even know you're doing it until the game's over and you go back and you see the replay tapes. You know, it's just you versus him.
You know what? He wins some of those you versus him matchups too.
That you versus him attitude, that's what they all have in the big leagues.
He'll be in the big leagues someday. You better believe that. Now with press coverage, they run Thomas to daylight. And the A-train is down inside the 45-yard line. That's 35 more yards for Anthony Thomas, who crashed the 1,000-yard barrier earlier in the game.
I'm saying, David Terrell stays in the game, though. He doesn't lose patience with the game plan, does a good job on the outside, and if you're making long runs, your wide receivers are blocking, but boy, that offensive line gashed him that time. Anthony Thomas, 95 yards. Remember, a year ago, he only had 38 yards in the game, 6 yards total rushing for Michigan.
Terrell is lined up tight on the left side of the formation. Fake toss. And here's Henson. Thomas almost intercepted, and that was not a good throw as Cedric Henry had a crack at it.
That was called completely wrong, the wrong formation. Half the team was going one direction, half the team was going the other, and Michigan is lucky to get out of that one, 2nd and 10 that time.
There is his last interception. 132 consecutive passes for Drew, Gary.
That's in territory I don't even understand. Drew Henson, I think you said it. I believe it. You look at all the great quarterbacks, and there's a lot of them in college football. This guy probably has the most upside potential for the big leagues.
Chris Perry, the running back for the Wolverines, on 2nd and 10. They run the Michigan toss with Perry. The young man is driven out of bounds on the far sideline. Thornhill and right. And one of the keys in this game so far has been the aggressive play by the Spartan defense. College football on ABC brought to you by the Grand Am with solid form designed by Pontiac. Tostitos, dig in, kickback, stay all season. Valvoline Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. And Courtyard by Marriott, the hotel designed by business travelers.
David Terrell went out of the game, Brent, on that bad left ankle again. Remember, he hurt it in the second half against Purdue, and it was a huge story of that game.
Bit of pain down there, isn't it? 3rd down and 9. So Bellamy now goes out with Walker. Bellamy, the slot man, 3rd down. It's a very physical game, and the pass is deflected.
Up front that time. I think Jace Taylor, number 80, got his hand on that one, but the previous play, David Terrell, and on 3rd and long, they didn't have him in the lineup. That handicaps this Michigan team. Let's see if he rolled his ankle or something. He's on the inside of the slot right there, trying to block. Usually someone else falls on you behind. And I don't know, it just looks like he kind of came up a little bit late. But it was his left ankle or knee or shin.
On 4th down, Epstein.
Beauty.
Oh, great hand time. Could be down inside the 5. So Justin Fargas downfield for Hayden Epstein, and a 41-yard punt is down at the 1. Well, our Courtyard by Marriott moment. Let's take you back now to October 13th, 1990. Tico Duckett, TJ's brother, explodes for the Spartans. And before it was done, he would score the winning touchdown. This is the last time, folks, that Michigan State won at Michigan, and it was a dramatic 28-27 win. George Perlis, the winning coach, is down below in the press box watching, and now the Spartans will try to come out amidst all the crowd noise on 1st and 10. Van Dyke tries the quarterback sneak and didn't get much out of it, so it's going to be 2nd and long. Very dangerous down here, Gary.
Well, this is the area. Hayden Epstein, that was a big play for Michigan right there. Finally, the field is turned enough for Michigan's defense to clog this running game. And And T.J. Duckett now needs to root him out there so they can at least punt the ball. 7-0 Michigan lead, but I got to believe Spartan fans are very happy with this score right now with 5 minutes to go in the half.
But Michigan State cannot be happy with that yards per rush. So Van Dyke will put it up. Got wide open man. Baker slides out. Blown coverage by Michigan to the 35-yard line. 33 yards on the play. And oh my, did they let him run.
And Van Dyke did a great job here. When you've got a receiver wide open, you never want to miss it. He just kind of lays the ball to him. He said, oh my, they blew a coverage. Don't let me miss it. This is a puppy. Just give him a nice high ball to catch, which he does. And Baker, the outstanding tight end, gets them out of their own shadow to the 35-yard. That's a huge play.
Isn't that a big one? Yep. 5:36 to go. And pulling back Van Dyke. Slammed to the turf at the 25. The second sack, Eric Bracken, number 51.
Second sack for a defense that came into this game with only 8 sacks all year. This was an option play that just blew up.
Check in with Jack Arute on David Terrell. Jack, what are you hearing down below?
The medical people told me on the Michigan sidelines, and you know how mum they are. They said, well, he just tweaked a previous injury. So, Gary, that would lead me to believe that he had to tweak either the knee or the ankle.
No, I think it was the ankle. Yep. And in talking to the Michigan people, they said that's what bothered him in the Purdue game. Second down and 17. And here's the handoff, and here's Duckett to the 31-yard line. And let's get an update on Indiana, Minnesota. And here's John.
Brent, you know, Minnesota, of course, coming off that big win against Ohio State, facing Indiana today. Antoine Randall the pitch to LeBron Williams. And he takes it across for the touchdown, 13 yards. The lead is 37-29. With still plenty of time left in the fourth quarter.
That could be a big blow for Minnesota's Rose Bowl hopes, let me tell you. And you liked Indiana.
I did. I thought they'd come back and play hard for Cam Cameron. He's under tremendous scrutiny down there.
They're down in 14 now. Van Dyke had the protective pocket, and he underthrows his wide receiver. Whitley, excellent coverage for the Wolverines that time.
That's the difference in this offense. There's no Plexico Burris. There's no Gary Scott. There's no just toss the ball up in the air and let a #1 draft pick bail you out. Every throw has to be a good throw, and Whitley just ate up that route by the young receiver.
So now Craig Jarrett on the field, and Bellamy back deep again for the Wolverines. Michigan scored on its first drive of the game, and since then, folks, defense has ruled the day. And another bad punt. He just got off a 21-yarder. Bellamy gambles down at the 44-yard line. But Gary, you know, you talked about this veteran offensive line. Steve Hutchinson, of course, is one of the ringleaders. And he talked about the offensive line at Michigan playing well.
We're really focusing on coming off the ball and opening holes. And, you know, we understand that if we get the ground game going, then our offense is going to take off.
Could have a long, long future in the NFL. First round draft choice, it would seem. First down and 10. The Wolverines lead it by 7, coming out for their own 43. Thomas is bashed in the hole.
Front four for Michigan State is winning the individual battles on the running game. They've got gashed a couple times. That time it was Josh Shaw inside, just beating the center, and guards blocked that time. And it looks like off tackle is the best place to run against this defense. You try to run around the end, those linebackers chase them down.
This is really a good game to watch Drew Henson in, because it has become very physical. This is the most physical defense I think I've seen all season. I'm talking about Michigan State right now.
And they've challenged Henson. Are you tough enough to play this game? We'll see.
Second down. Trying to get a blitz. There's a penalty flag. And Thomas inside the 45-yard line. That would be a first down, but let's hold on because there is a penalty.
Michigan State went into the neutral zone. I don't know if they were pulled off, but that was one of those slip screens to the outside again. One of those easy throws when your quarterback is getting hit. You throw those little screen passes.
First down.
Williams watching from the sideline to give you an idea now. Michigan, there's the touchdown. And then they have punted 3 times and just missed a field goal. Epstein hit the upright, remember. So we are standing at 7-0 Wolverines, and the only points the game came in the opening drive. They went 80 yards in 12 plays for Lloyd Card. And Lloyd, you know, like all good football coaches, very perceptive, realizes what kind of a game he is in. Clock is going to be important here. And Michigan with a first down inside the 45. Play fake by Henson. And Askew is banged to the ground for a yard loss by Drew Young. And Young delivering a few blows down there, number 4. And a reminder that coming up on Valvoline Halftime 2000, John Saunders and Terry Bowden will have college football scores and highlights from around the country. That's all at halftime. They'll tell you more about that dramatic Purdue-Wisconsin game. That sets up the showdown at West Lafayette next week between Ohio State and Purdue. And speaking of showdowns, don't forget next week is Oklahoma-Nebraska Day. Folks, sounds like the good old days when Oklahoma and Nebraska are playing a big one. Chris Perry in the game. 2nd down and 10. Just nothing doing. You know, Gary, if I didn't know better, I would say that the Spartans have a read on almost everything the Wolverines are going to try to do. I mean, they have jumped running backs. They have been on wide receivers. This is a very well-coached defense here today.
I think Bobby Williams is expressing his anger because they didn't get lined up right. But, Brent, I really think they're just beating the individual battles at the offensive line right now on a lot of plays. They get gashed a couple plays, but they're winning those individual battles, and that's intensity. That's Michigan State intensity in the line of scrimmage right now.
What a rivalry is all about, I guess, huh? 3rd down. They show press coverage, the Spartans do. Good blocking, and Henson's hit on the release, and he overthrows Terrell, and again, Henson takes a blow.
You got a great game plan by Bill Miller so far. A little bit of zone, a little bit of blitz, and hit number 7.
Richard Brown whacked him that time.
Stunt from the safety position this time. This guy's going to come around the corner right here and get into Henson's face. Watch this. Coming around the corner. There he comes. Boom, right in there as he let go of the ball. Oh, that's a big hit.
The last minute and a half.
Another beautiful punt.
Epstein has really become an outstanding punter. He drops another one inside the 5-yard line as Walter Cross races downfield. That's a 43-yard punt. We mentioned it, so let's remind you about next Saturday, a great doubleheader. Noon Eastern time. Eric Crouch and unbeaten Nebraska. Crouch and Josh Heupel will square off, and you can see Heupel the passer, Crouch the runner. The showdown in Norman next Saturday. And now again, Michigan State with horrible field position because of Hayden Epstein, and again on 1st down, Van Dyke will try to slip out. Now remember last time on a big pass to the tight end, Chris Baker, they got out of the shadow of the goalpost.
Michigan will use their timeouts. I have to believe in this situation. Backed up like this, I'd want to give the ball to Drew Henson another time, and they do very smartly so for Lloyd Carr.
But we've got a timeout. We'll take a break. 1:14 left here in the 1st half. So they plunge back into the line here with 1:14 to go. Not much doing for the Spartans. They're going to be coming up with the 3rd down. And now, Gary, of course, Michigan will start to control the clock. All they want's a chance here for Bellamy, give them good field position on a punt. And, of course, the way that Michigan State is punting, it is entirely possible that right now they'll come hard at Craig Jarrett.
If they stop Michigan State without a 1st down here, I think it's very likely that Michigan will get the ball inside the 50-yard line with probably a minute to go in the half. And with the college rules of stopping the ball after a 1st down, that's a huge amount of time to gain momentum going into the 2nd half. If there is a momentum part of college or pro football, it happens right at the end of halves, I think. You can go into the locker room with some good feeling about yourself. Michigan State desperately needs a 1st down. Very surprised, Brent, if they could run the ball and gain 9 yards for a 1st down. So that means Ryan Van Dyke is going to have to probably get outside the pocket and make something happen.
You know, head coach Bobby Williams had this to say on how you beat Michigan.
I think on offense, we definitely have to score more points. We've not been scoring the points that we need. And then on special teams, we got to get better execution. We've been so close in all phases of our special teams and making some big plays. I think in order for us to win this game, we got to win that part of the football game.
And I will tell you, folks, they're failing in both those categories. No points, and their special teams are not playing that well. So the two things that Bobby wanted here today, he's not seeing.
And he only has 24 yards rushing at halftime also.
3rd down and 9. Van Dyke from his end zone. Receiver was well covered by Todd Howard, so they'll be forced to punt. And Michigan will have time and field position on the tackle by Victor Hobson.
Michigan State tried to go hitch and go, expecting a blitz. Jimmy Herman, defensive coordinator, gave him a zone. Good call on defense. Look at the zone. Deep zone right here. These guys will drop. This guy's dropped. Everybody's looking at the quarterback in the pocket. Take a look at the hitch and go at the bottom of the screen. There's the hitch. There's a no-go, there's the deep zone, and there's nothing that's going to happen with that very sound defense. If you're Ryan Van Dyke, you feel that end zone. A little hitch, a little uh-oh, there's nothing there. Let me see what I can get. And against this fast defense, you're not going to scramble for 9 yards. Great defensive series there for Michigan. Brent, Bobby Williams was talking about special teams against Iowa, a game that they dominated, at least statistically. Iowa had 90-yard kickoff return, a blocked field goal, and a blocked extra point.
Gary, I think they're going to come hard at Jarrett. 21 and 31 yards off his last 2 punts. So here is White from behind Jarrett. You can see the relation to that back line.
Here's Walker, number 4, right there. He blocked it last week.
Now looking for a bounce. Bellamy will pick it up and try to get back to midfield. Does not. So all things considered, that was a nice play for Jarrett and the Spartans.
Oh, we're going to get a 15-yard penalty, though, against Michigan State.
Oh, that's going to kill him.
Absolutely. A retaliation penalty right at the end of the play. And that's usually what happens in these games.
After the play, personal foul, defense, personal foul,
offense. Oh, that's a great
shot.
First time.
I thought Bobby was going to cry when he heard
I did too.
first part of that. Don't tell me that.
He hasn't piped into us, is he?
No.
What's Danielson saying?
Okay, here comes.
I think it's a good call by the official right there. I saw the second hit. There must have been something that happened beforehand.
51 seconds. Michigan out of timeouts. 52 yards away. They got a long leg in Epstein. And Hinson gets lots of time and now fires high. And Bellamy couldn't pull it down. And that ball was just a little high, especially thrown to a wide receiver with an injured thumb and wearing that soft little cast there that you could see as he trots on back.
Drew Henson has not been on in this game. He started out very hot, but since then he's been very erratic throwing the ball. And the only thing I can think of is that because the wind is no factor, it's a perfect day to throw the ball. He's gotten rocked a few times.
He's 12 of 23 for 79 yards. Second down and 10. And he's completed only 5 of his last 13 passes.
Michigan in a deep zone.
So Michigan State backing off. And Hinson got an underneath man. He'll stop the clock. No, should step out of bounds, young man. That's inexperience over there. The clock is still running. It's hard to believe that Calvin Bell wouldn't catch it and just step out.
Well, he's a true freshman, and that's one of those freshman mistakes. Doesn't get to play much, doesn't get to catch many balls, and he tried to make a big play when he should have stepped out of bounds.
From the shotgun with the seconds ticking away. This time, got him and out of bounds, stops the clock, 10 seconds to go. So the young man comes right back with a big play here.
I think if you're Michigan, you want to kick the field goal.
Oh, you could go one more time, couldn't you, on 10 seconds, Gary?
Just don't throw it to Calvin Bell. They're in the middle of the field.
Just go to the sideline. Calvin made a good play that time.
Might want to throw it into the end zone.
And the Spartans
Yeah, we're going to
take a timeout to allow Michigan to talk about it and get set on what they're going to do. Remember, the Wolverines were without timeouts. Let's go to Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, we've seen him catch balls. We've seen him block for other runners. David Terrell believes literally he can do anything. In fact, his nickname, well, it's DT, but he told us, Brent, as you know, that he thinks that if Drew Henson was a pitcher, he could crush Henson's fastball. He could go yard, he told us. Oh, yeah, by the way, he picked the Yankees in the World Series.
Yeah, he did. But he thought about it, didn't he, Jay?
Yep.
First down and 10.
Michigan, there's two strategies here for Michigan. Throw the ball in the end zone or try to pick up 6 or 7 yards to move it a little closer for a field goal.
So they're playing with time right now. Out of timeouts, 10 seconds on the clock. And Brandt was injured, so Warner checks in at center for the Wolverines. Henson got time. There go the seconds. End zone, Terrell knocked away with 2 seconds left on the clock. So the play took 8. Lorenzo Guess made the play and batted the ball away in the end zone.
That clock was going down slow, wasn't it?
Home field timer.
You bet. There it is. 10 seconds. I'm not even going to bother counting this. There's too many people splitting this game.
Oh, by the way, Gary, don't count slow motion.
Exactly.
Okay. A 45-yard attempt here for Jeff Delverne. So he'll try a 45-yarder low, and he pulls it to the left. So Michigan misses 2 field goals, and Bobby said, get off of here.
It's a big save for Michigan State.
Wouldn't you love to hear him in the locker room?
You bet.
There will be some passion,
unless
folks.
he was mad at me.
Whoa. Michigan leads Michigan State by 7. John and Terry are coming up. The Boilermakers marched down with Drew Brees, and they couldn't get Michigan State out in the second half. And certainly the Spartans don't have any kind of an offense that rivals that of Purdue. But Michigan has to be just a touch uneasy because they're one fluke away from being all deadlocked here as Little John Flowers cuts to a hole for the Spartans and brings it back to the 26. And we go to Jackaroo.
And Gary, you're absolutely right. Both coaches wanted to talk about their offense and their offensive line. But Bobby Williams went even further. He singled out special teams, and he told me when he came out, he says, we're going to open up the offense. It's time for us to do a lot of new things. And one of the things I've found, Brent, so far, Michigan State's play has taken this 110,000 right out of the game. They're very, very quiet.
Yes, they are, my friend.
I think they have good reason to be. Not much is happening. No big plays in this game. Michigan State has to love the tempo of the game.
Reaching to Duckett, and Duckett explodes for one of his better runs of the day. That's 12 yards on his first carry before Dwayne Patton tackles him. And there appears to be an injured Wolverine. Let's see. Now he's slowly getting up. That is Patton who made the stop. And that's like trying to stop a diesel when you weigh in against Duckett. How about our Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats?
I think Michigan State would have loved to rush the ball for more, but you know, balanced by Michigan over here, 103-103. Neither team has committed that costly turnover right here, and field position in this game. Own 23 and the own 29, considering Michigan State had the ball twice on their 1-yard line, they survived.
Back with the running game, and you know, I'd love to wonder, is Duckett's hip injury worse than they are admitting, or have they stayed away from number 8 in this game? That's his 9th carry. He's now up to 51 yards because I think he's been their most effective weapon.
He has. He probably is their truest Big Ten weapon is T.J. Duckett in this. He's the real one guy that can step up. Maybe Chris Baker also at this portion. But I think it's the hit. It's not 100%.
Here he comes again.
Oh, he's alone.
He really is battling for a first down.
Yep.
Right near midfield.
It's so interesting. A year ago at this time, T.J. Duckett was still only practicing 10 minutes a day on the offense. He was also practicing as defensive linebacker. You can imagine that. This guy was still playing linebacker a year ago at this time.
graphics explosion here for the time being. We'll get that all straightened out. First down and 10 for the Spartans. They are right just shy of midfield with the first drive of the second half. Baker continues to flex. Now they're putting him in motion right behind Van Dyke. H-back look. He just leads Duckett, and Duckett breaks a tackle and bangs inside the 40-yard line. And there he is again for 11 more yards before Drake makes the tackle. But Duckett's starting to wear the Wolverines down a little bit. Jackaroo.
Smart.
Brent, you were talking about T.J. Duckett and about the fact that he was a load. Actually, I think Gary said it. Well, he's not quite the load that he was at the OurHouse.com Citrus Bowl. He gained 25 pounds that he had to drop after that game. He said they had room service every night. Boy, those cheeseburgers were great.
On this drive, he's already carried 4 times for 35 yards. And big hole now for Moss. Moss to the 30-yard line, and there's 8 more. And again, Gary, it is the middle of assistant coach Jim Herman's defense that is yielding some big.
And that's where they're most susceptible. Rob Renas is gone. That's the guy that plugged it up at the nose tackle a year ago. This time they got a young guy in there playing it, and look at that offensive line running right up the middle of that Michigan defense. No Dhani Jones. No Ian Gold.
And Dortch is torched.
But Eric Rackens is there.
And off number 24, Terrell Dortch. Eric Rackens made the stop.
I think this is a passing third and meeting that where you can make it.
I really have to feel now that there's something wrong with T.J. Duckett. I mean, you would definitely hear on 3rd and 4 feature him in this attack and not Little John Flowers. I don't even think they're going to tell us. Short drop, snap, pass, first down, and that was Lavelle Richardson.
Well, that was kind of a conservative play by Jimmy Herman that time. Michigan went to a deep zone on 3rd and medium. Michigan State, very thankful. Thank you very much. We'll throw a little short hitch and pick up the first down and move the chains. Yeah, a very secretive week for both camps, Brent. You and I were not allowed into either one of the practices, and you begin to wonder about the hip pointer for the big guy.
Princeton 10. Good-looking drive so far, but the Spartans haven't fished anything off yet today. Play fake by Van Dyke is a good one, but Hobson coming from behind, and now he hits Baker, and Baker crashes to the 11-yard line. Another Spartan first down.
When you run the ball against the Michigan defense, those linebackers, that's the way they raise them here in Michigan. You have to take on these players. Watch these linebackers, and then you get the crossing routes behind it. They see it, they hit it, both of them. Boom, they're out of position. By the time they react to it, here's the tight end, little dump pass right there, and you pick up a first down. It all comes off the run.
This is the first time today that the Spartans have been in the red zone. So Cashion is shaken up on the Wolverines sideline, and the Spartans with a first down, and Duckett returns. To the 9-yard line. It'll be second down. Foot again defensively for the Wolverines.
Sean Mason does a nice job. Watch Mason right here drive his block that way, and the running back come behind it. There's the block. Duckett comes behind it. That's the way you do it. You run with your eyes, your feet follow.
Chris Baker brings the play in. Second down and 7 with the ball at the Wolverine 9-yard line. Duckett stopped. Larry Foote and Julius Curry make the stop. We check in with Jack. Jack, what are you hearing down below on Duckett?
Well, Brent, the hip pointer's still giving T.J. Duckett a little bit of a problem, but he has a new injury that he's contending with. All of a sudden, his ankle has come up very, very sore. They don't feel like he'll have to come out of the game, but Gary, they say they probably won't give it to him as much as they'd like.
The 8-yard line, it's 3rd down and 6 yards.
Need 6 yards here. 3rd down and 6. Richardson and Haygood are off to the left. Van Dyke looks in that direction. can't find anybody. And down he goes as Larry Stevens records the 3rd sack of the day for the Wolverines. A penalty flag thrown in the end zone on the play, however. So hold on. The penalty marker is in the end zone. Oh, killer. An automatic first down.
Van Dyke needed to do a throwaway on this thing, but I think it happens right in there. Let's see if they grab the guy or not. That looked good. What's wrong with that? You're allowed to jam is to the top of the screen. Rackets does a nice job right there. I don't understand. If that's the call, I don't understand that call.
As Haygood went down, penalty flag was thrown in behind him. Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney is right down below us, and so he's watching.
Holding defense, taking half the distance from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
Again, I don't know if that was the call right there. That was one of the spots that we had that somebody was knocked down. Maybe it was somewhere else. Right where the flag was.
So let me check that. It stays at 3rd down, and 2 to go. And Michigan with a personnel problem. So we got a lot of confusion out here right now, folks. And now Lloyd Carr makes still another substitution.
9-5-8.
Now the clock is changed. 5 seconds going to be put back up on the clock. So Michigan was still legal to make substitutions. Now the Spartan coaches are out on the field here in Ann Arbor. This is a 3rd and 2, and everybody just trying to get things sorted out. Now the Spartans make a substitution.
And Michigan adjusts again. They're matching up. That's what's moved into the college game from the NFL game. They match up personnel against personnel.
Interesting matchup. The Spartans.
Now Michigan State takes a timeout.
Michigan sends 3 more, and now we got a timeout called Michigan State. I don't blame you, Coach.
Yep.
I'd be unhappy too. Timeout. Was holding in the end zone half the distance. Thus, let us reset, sort things out here. It is 3rd and 2. Michigan State used a timeout. Coach Williams not happy about it, but he has the big fella, Duckett, right there. Here he comes. Michigan stops him short of the end zone. The Spartans can pick up a first down without scoring.
It looks to me like he's a little short. And now you got to decide, Bobby Williams, if you go for it on 4th down or kick a field goal. I gotta go.
Number 8.
I gotta go for it.
Number 8. Come right back with him.
It's very, very close. It's going to be a half the ball one way or another.
Of course, if you miss this, if they are 1st and goal.
Yep.
Van Dyke dashes back on the field. In case you just joined us, Michigan scored the first time I handled the football today, and nothing's happened as far as the end zones are concerned since then. Here's 8, and he stood up right at the goal line.
Toss, 46 power. Give it to the big guy. It's an inside off tackle play. Quick toss. Pull the onside guard, kick out, but it's stuffed from the inside. Larry Foote does a nice job, and then those DBs. I don't think the ball crossed the line. That was a good call.
That was a good call.
Yep. Great time-consuming drive by Michigan State.
Yeah, it's the 13th play on this drive coming right now. There's Duckett. He'll get the call. And again, he stopped. So it'll be 3rd and goal, and Larry Foote the first to hit, number 8 again.
Larry Foote grabbed the foot. of T.J. Duckett. Number 17 is going to come in there and watch him come from behind this time, stuffed inside, and then Foot jumps through the pile and grabs the foot and ankle. And it happens. Good defensive line play. No rooting out. Third down and play. Back to 2 yards again.
Well, again, they show a tight formation at third down. Instead of trying to spread them a little bit, they'll use an option look. But Duckett fumble.
It's been a disaster, the option today.
And Michigan recovers.
A disaster. The quarterback's been trapped, the quarterback's been sacked, and now they pitch it for a fumble on 3 option plays. A disaster for Michigan State. Coming down the line of scrimmage, pitched it too soon. He did not make Victor Hodgson make it. The ball, beautiful play to keep it by Larry Foote again to keep it in bounds. Watch number 17. Heads up play to keep the ball in bounds, keep it alive for his team. And remember, and Bobby Williams is going to react and not well.
And then Wilson, Eric Wilson, jumps on the loose football. But what a play on that sideline by Foot.
Absolutely.
To keep the ball back in play. Michigan stops Michigan State.
Kind of a bit of a break on the holding call in the end zone. Kind of a no call, and then they did not take advantage of it. The only thing they can say is they held the ball and drove the ball.
Now it'll be Michigan coming out from the shadow of its goal with the first down on the 8-yard line here, leading by a touchdown. Well rested Anthony Thomas to the 11-yard line. Richard Brown making the stop. I want to go back and take one more look at this great play by Foot. And of course, the only thing you have to watch is whether or not he's out of bounds before he gets the football back where Wilson can recover. Now here's the loose football. Now here comes this great play. Now here's Foot diving, got it back, but was he out of bounds? Well, he still had his hands on the football. Well, the official was right there, had a shot at it, and he gave it to Michigan.
That's such a fine play and so close. That was a great play no matter what.
Here's a roll by Henson.
There you go.
And Terrell is out of bounds. Oh, we welcome those of you who have just joined us. Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Brent Musburger from the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines scored on their first possession. They drove 80 yards for a touchdown. Since then, they've had 6 possessions against Michigan State, only 146 yards, 4 punts, and 2 missed field goals. And the missed field goals are a story because 2 different kickers hit different. Thomas. They're turning loose to the 39-yard line. 18 more yards for Thomas. 16 carries, 119 yards, and the only touchdown in this game.
T.A. Train slanting off to the left side this year. This is zone play coming out. Just takes the counter trade backside, and then the wide receivers are out there making the blocks. That's Terrell, the left side of the screen, and he scoots it out into the end zone. Here's intensity. This is what Lloyd Carr said at halftime. Come on out, all 11 guys. Let's run the ball, let's block, and let's play from whistle to whistle, snap to whistle.
Ronaldo Hill and David Terrell in a battle. Terrell with a bit of a gimpy ankle has still been an aggressive blocker several times in this game. Drew Henson gets protection. High. Terrell makes a great catch. First down. That's 15 more yards. What a grab by Terrell.
I'm going to get it. This ball was halfway there when David Terrell turned around.
After the play, personal foul, defense, 15 yards.
Well, it's time for the Aflac Trivia Quiz. As you look at Bobby Williams, how many Michigan State coaches beat Michigan in their first season of these Lancers? We'll have the answer a little bit later. I'm gonna give you one tip. He's not here today. I'm sorry, George. I know you're downstairs watching, but Perlis was the last Michigan State coach to win in Ann Arbor. George Perlis brought the Spartans to it. First down and 10. There's a handoff down to Thomas. Daylight, cruising, cuts back, spins. Oh, baby, what a touchdown. Oh, baby, 31 yards for the A-Train.
Wow. Slasher. Steady, sturdy, silent, and today, a star.
Full steam ahead. His 6th 100-yard game this season. 19 in his career, and he has scored both of the Wolverines' touchdowns, and that's a killer for Michigan State. They were knocking on the Wolverines' goal line, and now Jeff Delverne adds the extra point. It's nothing as Anthony Thomas cruises 30 yards, and it's as good as it gets, folks.
Michigan State was not ready at the snap. You saw it. Half the guys going one way, half the guys going the other way. Drew Henson snapped it, and he gets 6.
Timeout.
But the State is not ready, and the reason is that Michigan puts both offensive tackles over here and the tight end on the opposite side of the ball. It confuses Michigan State. It looks on bad. It's not. Michigan State doesn't know where to line up. They get a quick snap. They run around the corner, and a great call by Stan Parrish. Drew Henson quick snaps it, and they get 6 points out of it. That's coaching, and that's how you win a tight game.
Absolutely. Epstein sends it toward the end zone. Ager takes a knee. Jackaroo.
Brent, last year, Anthony Thomas's position coach, Fred Jackson, told him at the end of the season he didn't think A-Train was being physical enough. So A-Train said, well, I've got to change my style, and he certainly has changed his style of running. It's a little more reckless abandon to it. Anthony says one of the problems last year is he felt like he was the only running alternative that Michigan had. Now he says there's some guys that can come in if I need a blow. Touchdown.
Indeed. That was a nice looking one,
That was
Jack.
a beautiful play, very well conceived, put together in practice. I saw it out in practice the last time I was here.
Little John Flowers, the running back. Exactly. From Michigan State. Van Dyke, of course, still the quarterback, but instead of being down 7, it's now 14. And Little John not going. In talking to defensive coach Jim Herman of the Wolverines, they asked him, what do you want to do with Tico Duckett? And Jim said, I want to keep him below 100 yards, and I want to wear his will out. Today, Duckett, Tico's younger brother, has been held to 70 yards. And so Jimmy Herman doing another great job against T.J. Duckett, who of course is the younger brother of Tico, and Tico Duckett scored the winning touchdown here the last time that Michigan State won. Play fake by Van Dyke, still got time in the pocket, nobody open, and he'll go down. Well, college football on ABC is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Burger King, got the urge? Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, move your money, get well connected, and inspired technology with a human touch. Nokia, connecting people.
Brandon, so, for a guy, Larry Foote, who took a lot of the blame in that Purdue game, he stepped up to that mic and said, I blew the game. I choked. That's why we lost. Today, he's been all over the field making plays. That's leadership.
Got a piece of that sack along with Rumashek. This time Van Dyke slips away from trouble and fires complete for a Spartan first down at the 37-yard line. Haygood with an 18-yard gain.
Well, you can see the athletic skill that Ryan Van Dyke has. He's still a young quarterback. He's not played a lot of football. He gave up a red shirt a year ago in November, Northwestern game, when Bill Burke tore a pectoral muscle. They were the plan all year last year with the red shirt. He said it's more important for the team for me to play, had a chance, helped take the team to the Citrus Bowl, and now he's got an opportunity to play again, and he bangs up the thumb. He showed me something else.
Haygood's first reception of the game. Van Dyke rolls the pocket to the left. This time he's got Richardson out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Well, a reminder, Monday Night Football, and it's a good one. It's the 5-1 Dolphins, 5-1 Jets, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time. And then at halftime, the first Bowl Championship Series rankings will be announced right here on ABC. Nebraska rolled today, so certainly they figure to keep that #1 spot. And #2 will go to Virginia Tech in all likelihood if Tech is impressive tonight up at Syracuse. Second down and 1. Straight ahead with the fullback Moss.
I don't think TJ's been on this whole drive. Has not been on the field.
No. Well, Gary, we asked everybody how many Michigan State coaches beat Michigan in their first season. And the answer is 1. 1995.
Yep,
the man who's down at LSU right now, Nick Saban.
That's the only one I remembered. I'd wondered if there'd ever been another one.
Chains are being brought out, and Bobby Williams in danger of slipping to 0-4 in the Big Ten.
Now,
a disastrous series down here
absolutely.
for Michigan State.
And that was
just before the Wolverines' second touchdown.
And they weren't knocking on the door. The door was open. It was the screen door by the time they got down. It was, what, 2nd and inches they had at one time for a touchdown? Oh, God. The option play will be looked at by all Spartan fans as where did we come up with that?
Here's 3rd and short again, and Duckett not on the field as Van Dyke plunges for the first down, and so certainly you have to feel that TJ Duckett is far less than 100%. You see him over there talking to part of the training staff, and now it looks like he's got a shoulder problem there.
Right, Morris Watts told me when I talked to him on Thursday that he feels bad for TJ. Last year when we had, there's Morris right there closest to it. Last year he said when the Spartans had Plaxico Burris and Gary Scott, a lot of soft secondary looks, and we were able to run the ball for the Spartans. Now, he said he's getting a mouthful every time he gets the ball.
Flowers.
Guess who?
No more than a yard.
Guess
who? Larry Foote has just been a dominator.
He really has.
Defensively. And speaking of Foote, at the conclusion of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each University General Scholarship Fund. One of the biggest plays, perhaps, of the entire Big Ten season was Foote keeping that ball in play down there so that it could be recovered by Eric Wilson. I certainly haven't seen a bigger defensive play. He had the presence of mind to knock it back in.
And he made the tackle on the play before. Michigan State needs to attack the middle of the field all day right here. In the middle of this field needs to be attacked for Michigan State. They have not had the desire to throw it in there.
And sacked by Hobson.
And again, the play call doesn't even have anyone near the middle of the field, and that's tough because Michigan has given them a soft zone, double zone look, and there's nobody to throw to. Double zone, 2 safeties wide, 2 corners wide. The middle of the field is the area you have to attack. Brent, we talk about this all the time. If there's a weakness in your offense, these type of guys right here will find it and exploit it, and that's what's happening in this game.
Remember, Ron Dane did not gain 100 yards in any single game against Michigan. third down. Van Dyke incomplete, and he had Ivory McCoy open for a moment. Jackaroo.
Well, Brett, poor DJ Duncan. I got to say poor because it's like he's his own match shooter. We told you about the problem with his hip pointer. Told you about his ankle being tender. Well, he's been playing with a sprained shoulder as well. Took a hard hit in that shoulder, and the doctors tell me it's just aggravated the sprain.
Tough day for a fine young running back. Fourth down. Here's Bellamy. Fumble. Pick it up. And dances back.
He stole the ball.
And the ball came free at the end, and it's Michigan State ball. But can they do anything with it?
Picked it clean that time. Bellamy, remember, he has a cast on one of his hands.
And McCoy recovers this fumble. He wrapped that ball up down at the bottom.
Takes it, drops it, picks it up, has it in his left hand. That's his good one. Takes it. Now watch it get ripped out right at the end of this play right here. Look at that.
Are you surprised like I am that he would be returning punts with that soft cast on?
He's pretty good at it. You know, Brent, I got to be honest. I know a little bit about these guys, but I don't know if he's naturally right-handed or left-handed. Normally, he might carry the ball in his right hand, and he's carrying it in his opposite hand for this game.
He's still getting words of support over there on the sideline, and now coming with the end around. Haygood. Hobson can't get him, but he did force him a little bit deeper. So number 6 actually forced Haygood a little bit deeper and then got helped by his teammates, and so Victor blows the play up, and now we get a late penalty flag.
Yeah, a little frustration setting in on this game right now for Michigan State. That was a dead ball 15-yard penalty. I think I might actually be right on this one too. And Bobby is not arguing at the officials this time. He's saying, why, Brian? Brian Otney, his center, redshirt freshman, who snapped.
After the play, personal foul. Offense, 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Second down.
So here at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, the Wolverines leading their arch rival, Michigan State, by a pair of touchdowns. A year ago, both teams were unbeaten when they played in East Lansing. Michigan State won that game, and Michigan has had a year to think about it. And there was a lot of determination brought to this game by both sides, as Haygood on that flanker screen makes it inside the 40-yard line. And a program reminder that tomorrow it'll be some battle when the lawyers of the practice take on a federal judge for the very first time. An all-new practice tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, right here on ABC.
Third and long. Brent, last week we saw what to do on this. You just dump it out to your back for 2 yards and let them go all the way, right? It worked for Oklahoma, didn't it?
Sure did. Also worked for Kansas State.
That's right.
Van Dyke got one-on-one. Waters reaches back. Just a little bit underthrown. Williams was all over Marcus.
Brandon Williams, tremendous technique. The dime back, nickel back, whatever, an extra defensive back is in the game. And he was a bit out of phase on this one. But instead of panicking, he's right here. Instead of panicking, he does what the coaches tell you to do. Run as far as you can, and when the receiver goes to catch it, turn around. And that's what he did, and that way he did not get the play called on him in the interference. Great
so
patience.
A lot of support for Ronald Bellamy because he is back to receive still another punt for the Wolverines. And this one by Jarrett bounces into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. Well, tonight Tom Hanks stars in the movie that won 6 Oscars, Forrest Gump, the man Alabama needs. Tonight at 8, 7 Central on ABC. Come to think about it, maybe Michigan State could use Forrest right now.
Yeah, that's right. They need somebody, don't they?
Drew Henson, 16 of 28 for 128 yards.
And everywhere across the field, but look at this. Between this big line, 70 yards right up there in the middle of that offense.
Going for more.
Boy, isn't it comfortable to have a back there? I mean, you just know what you're going to get from Anthony Thomas every game. No highs, no lows, no dips. Doesn't drop the ball much. Has improved his blocking. What a guy to have in your backfield when you have weapons outside. And he's becoming one of those weapons too.
Yeah, you know, he's going to graduate, and whoever takes him in the NFL, you know, they're not going to get Barry Sanders, but they're going to get a guy who shows up with that lunch pail every day, comes to play for you, doesn't make mistakes, will do the blitz pickups, can receive the ball, and will get you some tough yards, and that's all you can ask for. There's Perry now in the backfield. And here's a young man with a great upside. A freshman by the name of Chris Perry. He figures to step in as a go-to back when Thomas moves on to the NFL as the final seconds tick away here on the third quarter. And it was just a huge defensive play that turned this game around. And isn't that the way it should have been? Sitting on a 7-0 lead, it was Foote who kept the ball in play. Wilson pounced on it. The Wolverines marched down and score their second touchdown on just a sensational run by Anthony Thomas of 30 yards. So the sequence led to the A-Train, number 1. And now the second, folks. Watch the effort. Back with the fourth after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Michigan with touchdowns in the first and third quarter, and still the goose egg for Michigan State. Wolverine football, and Drew Henson today, 16 of 28, 128 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. And they come to run again. And it'll be Perry stepping in now for 3 yards.
As this game starts to unfold the second half, I think this Michigan offense, they've gone from full throttle to just let's do what we do best in this game. Let's run the ball. And here's been the key thing right here. They have not been able to stop the A-Train. Nothing else matters if you don't stop in this offense. Anthony Thomas.
Thomas back. Lone running back. 3 wides. Bump coverage. The blitz. They throw incomplete on it. In behind Bellamy.
Very quick passing. You know, we showed at halftime, Brent, that Henson had been knocked down, what, 7 times in the first half. Now they're going to a quick passing game and running the ball. There's the balanced play selection, but that's only the 3rd pass thrown by Michigan in the second half of this game.
3rd down and 6 for the Wolverines. Bellamy and Terrell to the left. Walker to the right. Great blocking. Hit Terrell for the first down at the 46-yard line. And Terrell today as Henson's main receiver. Well, I know we've had some other folks join us here with Gary Danielson and Jack Caruth. I'm Brent Musburger. Michigan leading Michigan State 14-0. We have 14-13 left to play in this game. Henson 17 of 30 for 138 yards. Terrell 7 catches for 78 yards. And the fellow carrying the football has scored both the Michigan touchdowns today.
Well, I said after
Anthony Thomas.
Excuse me, Brent. I said after halftime that I thought Lloyd Carr would go into that locker room and challenge his offensive line to see if they could run the ball against the Michigan State defensive line that I thought kind of beat them one-on-one in the first half. Well, the story has been a goal line stand by that Michigan defense and the ability to run the ball in the second half that has kind of changed this game.
Yeah, that goal line stand was
huge.
Was absolutely huge. And Michigan forced a turnover down there and then drove the length of the field for their second touchdown. Play fake. Henson wants Terrell, but can't quite get to him. Now in a foot race and fires it incomplete.
Well, we got a holding penalty, I think, on Backus on the backside of that play.
That's what it is. And for those of you who just joined us, let's take you back to what the play of the game is. Larry Foote, number 17, in pursuit. An option play by Michigan State. Fumble by Decker. Look at Foote. Just pushed the ball back onto the field of play. Wilson jumped on it, and Michigan drove down and scored its second touchdown. As defensive coach Jimmy Herman talking to Foote and the rest of the defenders down there. Foote on the day with 10 tackles.
10 tackles and great leadership. When the team needed him most, Larry Foote stepped up, took the blame for a very, very tough Purdue loss. 28-10 at halftime. He said, I choked. I think the rest of that team did not want to hang out one of their teammates, and they have picked up intensity as Michigan comes back in this game, now leading 14-0.
Thomas, big hole. Out of bounds at the 48.
Very interesting, isn't it, Brent? Second and long, and they run the ball in this football game. Those hits that Drew Henson took early in the game changed the play calling. Everyone in the Michigan area was so sure that the way to do it around Michigan is just ride Drew Henson. But don't forget this guy. Anthony Thomas is a special football player. He put 166 on a team he's never gained 100 yards against.
Duckett banged up several spots. Ankle, hip, here's that end around, and Marquise Walker with Henson out in front of him, and he didn't get far enough in front of him.
Sorry.
As Jay Saylor makes the stop. Come on, Drew.
Yeah, don't like that call, though. Third and long, you're going to get upfield rush from those defensive linemen thinking a pass, and I think that's one that Stan Parrish would like to have back.
Let us not overlook Epstein, who twice in the first half pinned Michigan State back inside the 5-yard line with his punting. Zia Kavanaugh, the redshirt freshman, back for the Spartans, who definitely need a big play. Fair catch at the 21-yard line. So Michigan State trails at 14-0. Timeout in Ann Arbor.
He's a battle there.
Michigan State looking for a big play to get back in it, and not this time as Van Dyke goes down to the arms of Evan Coleman, number 39. Let's check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Brent, during the last time that the offense was on the sidelines, Bobby Williams made an impassioned plea to his offensive lineman. He literally got down on his knees. I hadn't seen that. Actually, he was just trying to get close to them. But what he said, look, it's time to play with pride, fellas. You've got to block harder. You've got to give Van Dyke more time. He said, it's all about pride. Are you proud to be a Spartan? If you are, go out there and show me.
Well, you know, they've given up 5 sacks today. That was number 5, Jack. And Van Dyke's got a first down.
Finally, a pass in between the hashes.
To Lavelle Richardson for 21 yards.
You know, I always try to equate one sport to another. It's like playing basketball and just taking jump shots. You know, if you're a perimeter team, sooner or later you live by the jump shot, you give up on the jump shot. But here, you're going to throw the ball, you got to throw it between the hash marks. Finally, Michigan State sent a crossing route over the middle of the field.
Let's take a look at the updated Big Ten standings, because a lot of action around the league. Purdue had to go into overtime, and so they sit at 4-1. Michigan would be tied, but remember that they trail them because they lost head-to-head, and Michigan State would be at the other end of the spectrum if they lose today.
Look at the bottom of it. Wisconsin and Illinois, 2 teams that were thought to be challengers for the Big Ten title.
Topsy-turvy year in college football. Who knows? And here's McCoy. That was a nice play.
Well, he's got some acceleration.
Out of bounds inside the 45. He really does.
You know, Van Dyke has been okay. I don't think that Ryan Van Dyke is the reason this offense isn't moving. I kind of trace it still, Brent, to a lack of big play potential from the wide receivers. I mean, they were decimated with the loss of those two guys. And Spartan fans know they had a big recruit, Charles Rogers, that they didn't get eligible. He's been tearing them up in practice all week playing David Terrell.
Can't blame Van Dyke here. He's 14 to 21, exactly. 190 yards, and he hasn't turned it over yet.
He hasn't turned it over. He hasn't been great on the option play, but he's not an option quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't send that play in down there, I'm sure.
No, here we go. What can they do to us? They don't let us watch practice anyway.
Yeah, Mark.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards. The down remains first.
So reminder, noon next Saturday, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Just like the good old days down in Norman. Why, Barry Switzer himself will probably be back on the sideline just like he was last week down in Manhattan, Kansas. First down and 15. Here comes the blitz. Van Dyke read it perfectly and picked up Little John Flowers. And Little John cruises to the 30 for a first down. Nice read by Van Dyke. We check in with John Saunders in New York.
Brent, it's time for the Burger King play of the day. Purdue and Wisconsin tied in overtime. Pasetsky's 58-yarder is blocked by Craig Terrell. Ashante Woodyard picks it up and goes the distance for the touchdown. Purdue wins a stunner in overtime in stunning fashion as well. Joe Tiller, the celebration is on. Brent.
Can't wait to get to West Lafayette for the Bucks. There's a handoff now. Sprinting wide is Deutsch. Deutsch is crushed at the 21-yard line. That's short of a first down. A little enthusiasm in this drive on part of the Spartans. Maybe it's what Jack Arute said.
I think so. You know, you got a coach that got emotional with him, but I think it's also a little bit of a play calling change too by Michigan State. They threw the ball over the middle of the Michigan defense. That changes their look. That's where they're weak. When you attack them there, that means you get openings in other areas, and all of a sudden Michigan State is able to run the ball. Van Dyke can play. There's no doubt in my mind Van Dyke can play.
Yep. Second down and 1. And they run to the middle.
And Dorsey was a big-time recruit for Michigan State. Came down to Michigan, Florida State, and Michigan State. And he said he just felt comfortable with Bobby Williams and Michigan State's offense and where he could fit in. And Little John Flowers, who's been rotating in with Dorsch right now, hard to believe, but Little John Flowers was T.J. Duckett's tailback in high school. Remember, T.J. played quarterback.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You know, Gary, Michigan State's right in the thick of this, and they can strike right away. There's plenty of time on the clock. Van Dyke looking, fade, and Baker being pushed by Whitley went out of bounds. The line judge right over there. It read it perfectly.
Right down the middle of the field that time, and the possibility to throw the ball to Richardson. And that's a little bit of an inexperience by this Michigan State passing game. They'll get better at it, but they're going to have to attack. You just can't play that perimeter game and throw the ball effectively anymore at any level of football.
I'll tell you what, Benito, number 72, an offensive lineman, does he ever looks beat up out there? I mean, you talk about a warrior. You get down in front of Van Dyke now. And there's McCoy again, and not this time because of James Whitley.
Throwing again right into the teeth of this secondary look. Michigan was playing the big umbrella, and when you throw the ball out into the side of the umbrella, you can't do it. The opening is right in the middle, right there. There's the money area in the middle. Watch this. You try to throw it to the perimeter, guys are going to stand right there and stop that all day.
Michigan State. It's tough, folks. And here is Benito. Kneeling down in there, down in that pit area, ready to go to war again on another snap. Fire is complete, and that's Waters. And they're going to mark it short of the first down. So what do you think here, Gary? Michigan State got to go for it. Field goal doesn't do it.
Here's what I think. No matter what they do, don't run the option.
and don't waste a timeout.
Yeah, it's 2 wasted timeouts.
You know?
They're going to need them later.
So there it is, timeout. They'll talk about it, but it also allows the defense time to get set, folks. We'll be right back. Down play, 2 yards to go here for Michigan State. Brackens returns, and what do you think Herman might do here defensively?
On 3rd down, he came with pressure. I think he comes again. He does not want Van Dyke with a pass-run option. I think he brings pressure from the wide side of the field.
Van Dyke is 5 of 6 for 66 yards in this drive. The Wolverines show bump coverage with their corners.
There's the pressure.
Play fake, roll hard right, looking to run it. Looking to run it. Penalty flag is thrown on the play. Van Dyke is knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Julius Curry, but a penalty flag thrown on the play.
Jim Herman's MO is bring pressure when he has to have a play, and they ran the play right into the teeth of it.
During the run, holding, offense, the penalty is declined.
Another huge stop by the Michigan defense. Michigan State has moved the ball pretty well in the second half on this Michigan defense, but they have not made the play when they had to make the play. They're going to try to roll to the outside right here. Michigan is going to come upfield. Brackens right there. There's Hobson on the corner. Hobson gets grabbed, number 6. You see it right there in your frame. Very easy call to make right there. And Van Dyke has no one to throw the ball to.
Michigan up 2, goes to work on the clock. Thomas cuts back. Doesn't want to get anywhere near that sideline right now. The college football on ABC Sports brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular, and Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. 2nd down and 5 after the 5-yard gain. Clock ticking away on Michigan State here. They're scoreless. For the snap.
Yeah, they did that over-shifted offensive tackle again, and this time Mo Williams moved before the snap.
Hey, there's a young man Michigan fans remember, and so do State fans. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack, who you got?
Well, Brent, let's see the pose first. Come on. No, he doesn't do the Heisman pose. We're talking about Desmond Howard. Desmond, welcome back first.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be back.
Let's talk about this rivalry for a moment. You played in it for so many years. Can you describe it to people that aren't part of it?
It's really difficult to describe. I think the only one that is really more intense than this is the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. But an interstate rivalry like this, it brings out the best and the worst in both teams.
Now, you were involved in a questionable play back for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, you know, it was a bad call by the ref. But, you know, what can we do? We moved on, won a Heisman, MVP, and a couple of national championships.
As we look at it, did you catch it?
Yeah, I think I had it long enough to call it a 2-point goal. But, you know, hey, we moved on since then.
Hey, Brent, he's having a good time down here.
Oh, yeah.
And well, he should. Great smile.
Fresh from a big win for the Detroit Lions Thursday night, too.
Doing a pretty good job as a punt returner for Bobby Ross.
Yes,
You bet he is. Hey, how about those Detroit Lions anyway,
I think it shocked the whole community around here. Both Michigan State and Michigan fans, probably half of them turned it off halfway through that game, but Bobby Ross got them through the game.
5-2 is 5-2 in the NFL.
Right.
You're paid for W's. That's it.
Michigan is playing the clock now, boy.
Yep. They got a back that can do just that. 3rd down and 10. There's a fake, and Henson looking for a high percentage, or he'll keep it. Incomplete.
Pass intended for Terrell, incomplete.
Drew has to be frustrated. The last interception Drew Henson threw was against Michigan State a year ago in this game when he was still battling with Tom Brady for the starting job at this point. He comes into this game, 145 straight passes, but it has not been a highlight game for Drew Henson today.
Van Dyke has actually thrown for more yards. Remember, these were fierce high school rivals from afar. One on the east, Henson, one over on the west, Van Dyke. And there's the fair catch, the 45-yard line. Well, there's still 7:42. They have one timeout. but they must strike quickly. Van Dyke under center with 3 wide out. Short drop, wants that screen to Haygood, and Haygood cannot break free because of you-know-who.
Boy, that guy's making a run at my vote. I don't get one, but that's who I want.
Larry Foote makes this.
Let's take a look.
We'll give you a vote.
Dell game sleeves. I want to go back here because I think the story of this game right here, they have done a pretty good job, Michigan State, of moving the ball, but no one has made the play when it counted. And I think this Michigan defense has matched Coach Carr's intensity in the second half. A goal line stand, a 4th down stop, and Larry Foote has been all over the football field. That guy has inspired his team in the second half.
Second down, the blitz is picked up again. This time Baker, the tight end, gains about 5 yards with Howard trying to yank the ball away from him.
Again, throwing the ball on the edge of the perimeter.
So at the bottom of the hour from Michigan Stadium on what has been a gorgeous football Saturday with a crowd of 111,514, the 3rd largest ever in the big house.
It's 550 because I snuck a friend in, just to let you know, okay? I snuck a guy in. I used my
Did Vice Presidential candidate Dick Cheney buy a ticket, or is he a freebie today?
I think he's a freebie.
Okay, 3rd down. And Dyke sideline high, deflected, and Whitley with the coverage for the Wolverines, number 5.
Again, I'll tell you, I'm beating a dead horse here, but I have to. No one in the middle of the field, not one receiver for Michigan State. Again, that's tough throws. That's tough work for a quarterback to throw the ball on the edge because Jimmy Herman has not come out of that defense all game. You know, Michigan State, Brent, has controlled the ball in the second half. 15 minutes and 10 seconds they've had the ball compared to 7 minutes for Michigan. No points on the board.
Here's your 4th down, 6-12. They need 5. Van Dyke underneath, juggle, caught, no first down. Forget about it. Still battling, but it's whistled dead. And Gary, when you need 5 yards, you can't dump it off 1 or 2 in that situation. You've got to get a receiver 5 yards downfield. That's elementary.
But if you do dump it, you can't dump it out wide. You got to do like the San Francisco 49. You got to dump it in here. You can't dump it out here. Look at this umbrella defense again, and the ball is being thrown to the outside of the umbrella. You can dump it right in here. That'll work, but you can't dump it to the outside. Look at that. Not one receiver in the middle of the field. That ain't going to get it.
And now the Wolverines with 6 minutes to kill, and Van Dyke on the headset. Anthony Thomas today, 22 carries, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Bringing down the seconds.
Anthony Thomas carried. Pitcher Newsom on the stop. Pitcher Brown assistant.
So the team with the most rush yards has won 30 of the last 31 in this fierce rivalry here in Michigan.
There you go right there. But I think the only game, Brent, that hasn't fallen to form was the Nick Saban game when Tony Banks got the upset in the first game by Nick Saban.
Nice. At the 48-yard line, and Drew Young.
Well, Michigan's defense had a shutout a week ago, and they're 5 minutes away from back-to-back shutouts in the Big Ten.
Staying right in the thick of things.
They shut out an offense last week, Brent, that put 51 points up this week. Indiana against Minnesota's defense.
Third down and 6. Here's Thomas.
It's a clock play. They're just running the clock.
Now we've got a potential major upset brewing. So let's check in now with John Saunders.
Brent, you got that right because Clemson is down in North Carolina, already on top 10-0. Ronald Curry, 6 yards. The quarterback takes it in. He's also passed for almost 200 yards. and Clemson, number 3, is down 17-0.
That would be a huge, huge upset. Clemson eyeing that showdown with Florida State. Well, 3:53 to go. Michigan leading Michigan State 14-0. Here's Van Dyke back. Snaps off, complete at the 20-yard line into the arms of Richardson. You know, thinking about Clemson being perhaps upset today, that would probably end Woody Dantzler's Heisman hopes. Now here's a grouping of 6 pretty good quarterbacks.
You got Breeze 1?
Yeah, Breeze 1 now because of what happened today.
What do you think? Vic 2?
Vic and probably
Heupel 2?
It's
2. We got 3 2s, the way I see it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Second down now. 4.
There you go.
Right into the middle, and they've got their first down. Stops the clock at 3:16.
These are garbage yards right now. Michigan's going to trade yards for time until about the ball gets to the 50-yard line.
Michigan 3 minutes away now from beating arch rival Michigan State. They lead at 14-0. They scored on the opening drive of the game and then came back in the second half and popped one in. Throw, caught, and Waters up in the air has shown us a little something at the 47. Those of you who just joined us might want to take a look at the key play. It was 7-0, and Michigan State was coming in for the touchdown. They decide to go option. Watch the linebacker foot. Knocks the ball back, and Wilson recovers it, and from there the Wolverines march down to the second touchdown of the day by number 32, Anthony Thomas, who today has rushed 25 times, 175 yards in those 2 scores. Van Dyke, and it is incomplete. Richardson is slammed by Larry Foote, number 17.
Well, I think I started out this game by matching up these 2 teams. Let me see. I called it this way, this way, this way, and this way. Any arguments with any of that, Brent?
Yeah.
Which one do you like?
I think the defensive line did a job. Anytime you got a shutout, I think that they did a job, Michigan.
You think Michigan this way?
Yeah. What about coaching? How come you don't have that?
Yeah, I'm staying away from that one. I've been calling a lot of plays up here. They're not going to let me back there anyway.
Second down and 10. The left tackle move. I got a moment here. Let me thank some folks who bring you these games and the Monday Night Football, everything on ABC Sports. Our executive producer at ABC Sports is Howard Katz. The executive producer of ABC's College Football, John Filippelli. Director of production, Bob Toms. The coordinating producer.
Snap, false start, offense, 5 yards, repeat, second down.
And somebody who's never had a false start for us, the producer of the game, Bob Goodrich. Our director, Larry Cam, and our TD, Monty Poling. The associate director, the tease man himself, Scott McGrath. And the production manager, Michael Heskett. Big Mike is here with us today. And the technical manager, Mark Toy. And special thanks to Notes.
Notes wants his real name on the air. Okay?
I know he does. Second down.
Where did he get there?
15. And diving catch for the Spartans. Herbie Haygood makes the grab at the 26-yard line, a gain of 32 yards.
Well, Van Dyke's thumb, the question marks about that are over with. And notice again where this ball has been thrown all day. Jim Herman said, if you've got the guts to throw the ball over the middle, I'll let you have it. Michigan State said, okay, now with a few minutes to go, we'll try it.
2:26. Pump fake, and Van Dyke sacked. Sean Lazarus, number 97, with sack number 6. I rest my case on that Michigan front defensive line with 6 sacks.
You got it. I actually thought that the receivers and quarterback for Michigan State didn't do a bad job in this game either. They hung in there.
Sean and Terry will be here time permitted with the thrifty Carmental postgame report.
It's a pretty good football game that could have gone either way. Michigan State obviously should have scored when they were down there knocking on the 1-foot line for a touchdown. And we have not seen T.J. Duckett since that fumble.
Yep. So we've got a timeout. shutting out Michigan State, but the Spartans trying to put some points on the board, but they're set back now with that sack, and it is second down at 17. The looks of frustration on the part of the Spartans.
Remember, we called it, Brent. If they do happen to score, they've burned all their timeouts.
Yep. Van Dyke drops it off to Little John Flowers. Couldn't get back to the original line of scrimmage, and here comes third down.
Larry Foote again coming up from that secondary. What a wonderful game Larry Foote has played. I love guys that stand up and take it in the bad times as well as the good.
Here's Van Dyke. And it'll be fourth down and about 8 yards coming up after a hit by Larry Foote, number 17. He has been the enforcer here today.
What you have to do now, Foote is going to hit anything across the middle. He's realized that Michigan State is going to do it. I'll show you where he's at. Foote is right in this area right here, okay? He's going to read it. What you have to do is throw the ball behind him now.
Right tackle moved.
You have to cross the guy in front of him and then to bring another receiver behind him.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. 5 yards, the down remains 4.
That's a 7th penalty for Michigan State. They got burned the last couple of weeks with 17 penalties the last 2 games that they've lost. But I thought the penalty on the center, Otney, the dead ball foul, was the biggest penalty so far for Michigan State.
Well, Foote now with 14 tackles. He had 31 for the year coming in, and today, 14 tackles. And here's 4th and 14. Van Dyke incomplete, intercepted in the end zone by Michigan. Dwayne Patman.
With 57 seconds and no timeouts, Michigan's going to take a knee, and Jimmy Herman, the defensive coordinator, was 2 years ago, who was the assistant coach of the year. You're going to see it. They're all going to drop deep this time, and Michigan State sends everybody long for one last chance throw at the end zone. Really can't fault this too much. You're just trying to run down the hash marks and hit a big play, and there really was nothing there.
So after a year of feeling the pain of losing last year, Michigan puts one over in the W column in the Big Ten. And today's Chevrolet players of this game are Larry Foote, the tackling machine for the Wolverines today. Quarterback Ryan Van Dyke, who actually played pretty well for Michigan State. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
And I'm Michigan. I'm feeling good about this win for one important reason. David Terrell and Drew Henson weren't a big part of this game, but other guys stepped up to win the game. And there's a lot of seniors on this Michigan team, especially on offense, and they didn't want to leave here without beating these guys. 1987.
And there's a large reason why. Number 17. And now Coach Williams is 0-4 in the Big Ten. And Michigan stays in hot pursuit of Purdue. Again, the Wolverines won at 14-0. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC College Football. So long, everybody.